Hey there, spooky explorers and history buffs. Are you ready to embark on a journey that will send shivers down your spine and ignite your curiosity about the past? Today, we're diving into the mysterious and eerie world of ghost towns. These places are like time capsules, frozen in a moment, waiting for us to uncover their secrets. Welcome to our road trip through time, where we'll be visiting some of the eeriest, most deserted places in America. Imagine driving through vast, empty landscapes where the only company you have is the whispering wind and the occasional tumbleweed. These ghost towns are scattered across the country, each with its own unique story and haunting beauty. Buckle up because we're diving headfirst into the world of ghost towns. Picture yourself driving through streets lined with dilapidated buildings, their windows shattered and doors creaking in the wind. The silence is almost deafening, broken only by the distant call of a crow or the rustle of leaves. It's a place where time seems to stand still, and every corner holds a piece of history waiting to be discovered. You know, those places that were once bustling with life and laughter but are now just empty shells? These towns were once thriving communities filled with people going about their daily lives, working, laughing, and building their futures. But now, they stand as silent witnesses to a bygone era, their faded signs and crumbling facades telling a story of dreams that were left behind. They're like the abandoned amusement parks of history. Imagine walking through an old amusement park, the rides rusting and the laughter of children replaced by the eerie silence of abandonment. These ghost towns evoke a similar feeling, a sense of nostalgia mixed with a touch of melancholy. They remind us of the impermanence of life and the passage of time. We're talking about saloons with swinging doors that haven't swung in a century, and banks that are just begging for a ghostly heist. Step inside an old saloon, and you can almost hear the clinking of glasses and the lively chatter of patrons. The dust-covered bar and the creaking floorboards tell tales of a time when this place was the heart of the town. And those old banks, they stand as silent sentinels, guarding the secrets of fortunes made and lost. Over the next few videos, we'll be your guides through the dusty streets and crumbling buildings of these abandoned towns. We'll explore the remnants of homes, businesses, and public spaces, piecing together the stories of the people who once called these places home. Each town has its own unique history, and we'll uncover the events that led to their rise and fall. We'll uncover the stories of the people who lived, worked, and maybe even died there. These ghost towns are not just empty shells, they are filled with the echoes of the past. We'll visit old cemeteries where weathered tombstones stand as a testament to the lives that were lived and lost. Each grave has a story to tell, and we'll do our best to honor their memories. You know me, I'm all about those ghost stories. There's something thrilling about the unknown, the idea that these abandoned places might still be inhabited by the spirits of those who once lived there. We'll gather around campfires and share tales of hauntings and unexplained phenomena. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, these stories are sure to send a chill down your spine. So grab your EMF readers, or your skepticism if you're Ryan, because we're about to embark on a wild ride through the abandoned corners of the USA. Let's get spooked. We'll use all the tools at our disposal to investigate these ghost towns, from EMF readers to thermal cameras. We'll document our findings and share them with you, giving you a front row seat to our spooky adventures. So, are you ready to join us on this journey into the past? Let's get started and see what mysteries we can uncover. First up, we're heading to the Sierra Nevada mountains of California, to a town that was once a beacon of hope and wealth during the gold rush. That's right, folks, we're talking about Bodie, California. This place was basically the Las Vegas of the 1870s, full of miners, gamblers, and, well, you know, a whole lot of questionable life choices. Imagine this, it's 1859, and word gets out that there's gold in these here hills. Naturally, everyone and their brother decided to pack up their bags and head west, hoping to strike it rich. And for a hot minute, they did. Bodie became a booming town, with a population of almost 10,000 people. There were saloons on every corner, hotels overflowing with prospectors, and even a red light district that would make even the most seasoned cowboy blush. It was a wild time to be alive, let me tell you. But like all good, or should I say wild things, it didn't last. By the 1880s, the gold started drying up and people started moving on to the next big thing. And just like that, Bodie went from boomtown to ghost town faster than you can say gold rush. Let's take a step back and imagine the early morning mist rolling over the Sierra Nevada mountains. The air is crisp and the landscape is breathtakingly beautiful. It's hard to believe that this serene place was once the epicenter of chaos and dreams. Picture the scene as miners set up their camps, their faces filled with hope and determination. They came from all walks of life, leaving behind families and familiar surroundings, driven by the promise of striking it rich. The rivers and streams were filled with men panning for gold, their eyes scanning the water for that elusive glint of yellow. It was back-breaking work, but the potential reward was worth every ounce of effort. And when they did find gold, oh, the celebrations that followed. Miners would gather around sharing stories of their finds, their laughter echoing through the valleys. It was a time of camaraderie and shared dreams. As more and more people flocked to Bodie, the town expanded rapidly. New businesses sprang up overnight, catering to the needs of the growing population. General stores, blacksmiths, and even theaters became common sights. Families began to arrive, hoping to build a new life in this bustling town. Schools were established and churches were built, creating a sense of community amidst the chaos. The saloons were the heart of Bodie's social life. They were places where miners could unwind after a long day, sharing drinks and stories. The sound of piano music and laughter filled the air, creating an atmosphere of excitement and possibility. Gambling was a popular pastime, with card games and roulette tables drawing crowds. The nightlife in Bodie was legendary, with dance halls and theaters providing entertainment for those looking to escape the harsh realities of mining life. Of course, with so much activity, law enforcement was a constant challenge. The town had its share of outlaws and troublemakers, and the local sheriff had his hands full trying to maintain order. In 1879, a devastating fire swept through Bodie, destroying much of the town. But the resilient residents rebuilt, determined to keep their dreams alive. The fire was a stark reminder of the dangers and uncertainties of life in a boomtown. As the years went by, the gold began to dwindle. The once thriving mines produced less and less, and the population started to decline. People packed up and moved on, leaving behind empty buildings and memories of a bygone era. By the early 20th century, Bodie had become a ghost town. The streets that were once filled with life and activity were now silent, the buildings standing as silent witnesses to the town's rise and fall. Today, Bodie is preserved as a state historic park, a testament to the dreams and determination of those who once called it home. Visitors can walk through the town, exploring the remnants of a time when gold fever gripped the nation. Tourists from around the world come to Bodie, drawn by its history and the stories of those who lived and worked there. It's a place where the past comes alive, offering a glimpse into the lives of the miners, gamblers, and families who once walked its streets. Bodie's legacy lives on in popular culture, with books, movies, and TV shows drawing inspiration from its colorful history. It's a symbol of the American West, a place where dreams were made and lost in the pursuit of gold. The Gold Rush era was a time of great excitement and possibility, but it was also a time of hardship and uncertainty. The story of Bodie is a reminder of the resilience and determination of those who sought to build a better life, no matter the cost. Today, as we walk through the streets of modern-day Bodie, we can almost hear the echoes of the past. The creak of wooden floors, the distant laughter of miners, and the clinking of glasses in the saloons. It's a place where history is tangible, where the spirit of the gold rush lives on. As the sun sets over the Sierra Nevada mountains, casting a golden glow over the town, we are reminded of the fleeting nature of fortune and the enduring legacy of those who chased their dreams. Bodie stands as a monument to the human spirit, a place where history and legend intertwine. So the next time you find yourself dreaming of adventure and fortune, remember the story of Bodie, California, a town that rose and fell with the tides of gold, but whose spirit lives on in the hearts of those who dare to dream. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of Bodie. Until next time, keep dreaming and exploring. Okay folks, buckle up because our next stop takes us to Centralia, Pennsylvania, a town with a story so strange you might think I'm making it up. Centralia is not just any ordinary town, it has a history that is both fascinating and tragic, a tale that has captured the imagination of many. This small town, nestled in the heart of Pennsylvania, was once a bustling hub of activity, a place where dreams were made and lives were built. But today, it stands as a stark reminder of how quickly fortunes can change, and how a single event can alter the course of history forever. But trust me on this one, it's a doozy. Centralia's story is one of those rare instances where reality is stranger than fiction. Imagine a town where the ground beneath your feet is constantly smoldering, where smoke seeps out of cracks in the pavement, and where the air is thick with the smell of burning coal. This is not a scene from a dystopian novel. This is Centralia, a place where the past and present collide in the most unexpected ways. The town's eerie, abandoned streets and crumbling buildings tell a story of a community that once thrived but is now left to the ravages of time and fire. Unlike Bodie, which faded away slowly as the gold dried up, Centralia's demise was a bit more dramatic. Bodie, California, another famous ghost town, saw its population dwindle gradually as the gold rush came to an end. People packed up and left in search of new opportunities, leaving behind a town that slowly decayed over time. Centralia, on the other hand, was thrust into chaos almost overnight. The cause of its downfall was not economic decline or a natural disaster, but a man-made catastrophe that continues to burn to this day. The contrast between these two ghost towns highlights the unpredictable nature of history and the different ways in which communities can rise and fall. You see, this town was built on top of a ticking time bomb, a massive underground coal mine fire. The coal mines that once brought prosperity to Centralia also harbored a hidden danger. Deep beneath the surface, a network of tunnels and shafts crisscrossed the town, filled with rich seams of anthracite coal. For years, these mines were the lifeblood of the community, providing jobs and fueling the local economy. But in 1962, a seemingly innocuous event set off a chain reaction that would spell the end for Centralia. A fire, ignited in a landfill, found its way into the labyrinthine coal mines, and from that moment on, the fate of the town was sealed. Centralia was once a thriving coal mining town, full of hard-working families and a real sense of community. The streets were lined with homes, businesses and schools, all bustling with activity. Children played in the parks, neighbors gathered for barbecues, and the local church was the heart of the community. The town's residents took pride in their work and their way of life, and there was a strong sense of camaraderie among them. Centralia was more than just a place to live. It was a place where people built their lives and their futures. But beneath the surface, a silent threat was growing, one that would eventually tear this close-knit community apart. But in 1962, everything changed. That year, a fire was set in a landfill to clean up the town for Memorial Day. It was a routine practice, something that had been done many times before. But this time, something went horribly wrong. The fire spread to an exposed vein of coal, and from there, it began to burn its way through the underground mines. Efforts to extinguish the blaze were unsuccessful, and as the fire continued to spread, it became clear that Centralia was facing an unprecedented disaster. The town's residents watched in horror as the ground beneath their feet began to heat up, and smoke started to billow from the earth. A fire accidentally ignited in the labyrinthine network of coal mines beneath the town. This was no ordinary fire. It was a subterranean inferno that defied all attempts to put it out. The fire burned with an intensity that was both awe-inspiring and terrifying, consuming everything in its path. As it spread through the coal seams, it created a network of burning tunnels that snaked their way beneath the town. The heat from the fire caused the ground to crack and buckle, and toxic gases seeped up from the depths, making the air unbreathable. The residents of Centralia were living on top of a literal powder keg, and there was no way to predict when or where the next explosion would occur. And this wasn't just any fire, folks. This was a fire that would come to define the town, a fire that would burn for decades and show no signs of stopping. The blaze beneath Centralia was unlike anything anyone had ever seen before. It was a relentless, unstoppable force that consumed everything in its path. The fire burned so hot that it melted the asphalt on the streets and caused the ground to collapse in places, creating dangerous sinkholes. The smoke and fumes from the fire made it difficult to breathe, and the constant threat of collapse made it unsafe to live in the town. Despite the best efforts of firefighters and engineers, the fire continued to burn, and it soon became clear that there was no way to put it out. This fire was like the Energizer Bunny of blazes. It just kept going and going and going. Decades passed, and the fire continued to burn, consuming more and more of the coal beneath Centralia. The town's population dwindled as residents were forced to leave their homes, unable to live in the dangerous and toxic environment. By the 1980s, the government declared Centralia uninhabitable and began the process of relocating the remaining residents. Today, only a handful of people still live in Centralia, clinging to the remnants of their once thriving community. The fire continues to burn beneath the town, a constant reminder of the disaster that changed Centralia forever. The story of Centralia is a testament to the power of nature and the resilience of the human spirit, a story that will continue to captivate and intrigue for generations to come. Alright, let's talk Rhyolite, Nevada. Picture this. It's 1904, the gold rush is in full swing, and this place pops up out of the desert like a prospector's fever dream. They had banks, a stock exchange, even an opera house. They were really putting their money where their pickaxes were, hoping to strike it rich and live the good life. But here's the thing about dreams built on gold. They can vanish faster than a drop of water on a hot desert rock. And that's exactly what happened to Rhyolite. Rhyolite declined almost as rapidly as it rose. After the richest ore was exhausted, production fell. The 1906 San Francisco earthquake and the financial panic of 1907 made it more difficult to raise development capital. In 1908, investors in the Montgomery Shoshone mine, concerned that it was overvalued, ordered an independent study. When the study's findings proved unfavorable, the company's stock value crashed, further restricting funding. By the end of 1910, the mine was operating at a loss, and it closed in 1911. By this time, many out-of-work miners had moved elsewhere, and Rhyolite's population dropped well below 1,000. By 1920, it was close to zero. After 1920, Rhyolite and its ruins became a tourist attraction and a setting for motion pictures. Most of its buildings crumbled, were salvaged for building materials, or were moved to nearby Bodie or other towns. Alright, buckle up because we're heading to Cahaba, Alabama. This place has a wild history, even for a ghost town. Founded in 1819, Cahaba had big dreams. They even became the state capital for a hot minute. I mean, it wasn't exactly a bustling metropolis, but hey, a capital's a capital, right? But Mother Nature, she had other plans. You see, Cahaba was built on a bit of a, shall we say, floodplain. In 1865, a flood inundated Cahaba, and in 1866, the county seat permanently moved to nearby Selma. Business and families followed. Within 10 years, houses were dismantled and moved. During Reconstruction, the abandoned courthouse became a meeting place for freedmen seeking new political power. Cahaba became known as Mecca of the Radical Republican Party. A new rural community of 70 former slave families replaced the old urban center. These families turned the vacant town blocks into 2-acre fields. Even this community soon disappeared. By 1900, most of Cahaba's buildings had burned, fallen in, or were dismantled. Few structures survived past 1930, but the town was not unincorporated until 1989. By that time, only fishermen and hunters walked the town's abandoned streets. But here's where things really get interesting. Archaeologists recently discovered Cahaba was built upon the remains of an earlier ghost town. Some experts believe the earlier village was Maubila, the famous Native American village destroyed by Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto in 1540. More surprising is the discovery that Governor William Wyatt Bibb and his surveyors not only found the remains of this ancient village, but they incorporated the old earthworks into the centerpiece of Cahaba's town plan. Apparently, Governor Bibb hoped to build Alabama's state house atop the ancient Indian mound. He planned to use a semicircular moat dug around the ancient village 3 centuries earlier to restrict the grounds of the state house. Alright, bundle up because we're heading north to Kennicott, Alaska. This place is about as remote as it gets, nestled in the Wrangell Mountains. Imagine a landscape straight out of a Jack London novel: rugged peaks, icy glaciers, and a whole lot of nothing. It's the kind of place where you could get lost for days and nobody would find you. But in the early 1900s, people flocked to this frozen wasteland for one reason: copper. They say there's gold in them there hills, but in Kennicott it was all about that sweet, sweet copper. Kennicott had 5 mines: Bonanza, Jumbo, Mother Lode, Erie, and Glacier. Glacier, which is really an ore extension of the Bonanza, was an open pit mine and was only mined during the summer. In 1925, a Kennicott geologist predicted that the end of the high-grade ore bodies was in sight. The highest grades of ore were largely depleted by the early 1930s. The Glacier mine closed in 1929. The Mother Lode was next, closing at the end of July 1938. The final 3, Erie, Jumbo, and Bonanza, closed that September. The last train left Kennicott on November 10, 1938, leaving it a ghost town. From 1909 until 1938, except when it closed temporarily in 1932, Kennicott mines produced over 4.6 million tons of ore that contained 1.183 billion pounds of copper, mainly from three ore bodies: Bonanza, Jumbo, and Mother Lode. 6. 267, 74. The Kennicott operations reported gross revenues above $200 million and a net profit greater than $100 million. 8. All right, buckle up because we're headed to Thurmond, West Virginia, a place with a rich and tumultuous history. Picture this: it's 1888, the Industrial Revolution is in full swing, and coal is king. The demand for coal is skyrocketing, fueling industries and railroads across the nation. Thurmond popped up right in the middle of this coal-fueled frenzy, quickly becoming a bustling hub of activity and commerce. And when I say in the middle, I mean it was smack dab in the heart of the New River Gorge, a region rich in natural beauty and resources. They even built a giant bridge, the New River Gorge Bridge, to connect the town to the outside world. This engineering marvel is still standing strong today. It's a pretty impressive sight, even if the town below it isn't quite as lively as it used to be. The bridge stands as a testament to the town's once thriving past. But hey, that's what happens when your whole economy hinges on a single industry, right? When the coal demand dwindled, so did the town's fortunes, the whims of fate and all that. The decline was inevitable as the world moved on to other energy sources. Let's just say, Thurmond learned that lesson the hard way. The town story serves as a poignant reminder of the impermanence of industrial booms. As of 2024, Thurmond has a population of 2 people. Most of Thurmond is owned by the National Park Service for the New River Gorge National Park and Preserve. The C&O passenger railway depot in town was renovated in 1995 and now functions as a Park Service visitor center. The entire town is a designated historic district on the National Register of Historic Places. Here's a fun fact: Thurmond is the least populous municipality in West Virginia. During the June 14, 2005, city elections, 6 of the city's 7 residents sought elected office. All right, folks, trade in your coal-dusted boots for some sturdy hiking shoes because we're heading to Garnet, Montana. Nestled high in the Garnet Mountains, this little town boomed in the 1890s thanks to, you guessed it, gold fever. Imagine a sea of hopeful prospectors, picks and shovels in hand, swarming over those mountains like ants on a dropped donut. Garnet was a classic boomtown with saloons, hotels, and even a school popping up faster than you could say Eureka. The town was bustling with life, and they even had a post office, which is pretty impressive when you consider most of these miners probably couldn't even read. But hey, who needs literacy when you've got gold dust burning a hole in your pocket, right? The allure of striking it rich was enough to draw people from all walks of life. Families arrived with wagons full of supplies, hoping to carve out a new life in this rugged terrain. Celebrations erupted in local saloons whenever someone struck gold, creating a sense of community and shared dreams. Today, Garnet stands as a ghost town, a silent witness to the dreams and ambitions of those who once walked its streets. Tourists now explore its remnants, imagining the vibrant life that once thrived here. The remaining buildings have been preserved and are open to visitors. The site is managed by the Bureau of Land Management. Garnet is one of the state's best preserved ghost towns with 16,000 visitors annually. The annual celebration, the 3rd Saturday of each year, is Garnet Day. Garnet's oldest living member, Mary Jane Adams Morin, came to visit every year. The town was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The listing included 82 contributing buildings, 46 contributing structures, and 56 contributing sites, as well as 4 non-contributing buildings on 134 acres. All right, folks, get ready to climb aboard the Ghost Town Express because we're headed to St. Elmo, Colorado. This isn't just any ghost town, it's a place where history whispers through the winds and the past feels almost tangible. Perched high in the Sawatch Mountains at a dizzying elevation of over 10,000 feet, this place is not for the faint of heart, or the weak of lungs for that matter. The air is thin, but the stories are rich and plentiful. Founded in the 1880s, St. Elmo was once a bustling hub of mining activity. Imagine the clamor of pickaxes and the shouts of miners echoing through the valleys. We're talking gold, silver, you name it. They were digging it out of those mountains like there was no tomorrow. The quest for precious metals drove people to the edge of endurance and beyond. The town was a kaleidoscope of colorful characters, grizzled prospectors, savvy businessmen, and maybe even a few shady outlaws looking to make a quick buck. Each person had a story, a dream, and a reason for being there. It was a place where fortunes were made and lost, dreams were chased, and the air was thick with both hope and dust. The streets buzzed with activity, and every corner held a new adventure or a hidden danger. To learn more about St. Elmo, check out our video, The Haunting History of St. Elmo, Colorado. Alright, buckle up because we're headed to Jerome, Arizona, a town literally clinging to the side of Cleopatra Hill. This isn't just any ordinary town, it's a place where history, mystery, and a touch of the supernatural blend seamlessly. Imagine a town that defies gravity, where buildings seem to hang precariously off the edge of a steep hillside, and every corner you turn reveals a new story waiting to be told. You see, Jerome wasn't built on top of the hill, oh no, that would be too easy. Instead, it was constructed right into the rugged terrain, making it a marvel of engineering and sheer determination. The town's architecture is a testament to the ingenuity of its early settlers, who carved out a living in this challenging environment. Each building, with its weathered facade and intricate details, tells a tale of resilience and creativity. It was built right into the side like some kind of daredevil's dream home. The streets wind and twist, following the natural contours of the hill, creating a labyrinthine layout that can be both enchanting and disorienting. Walking through Jerome is like stepping back in time, with each step revealing a new layer of its rich and storied past. And let me tell you, this place has seen it all. From its early days as a bustling mining town to its decline and eventual rebirth as a tourist destination, Jerome has weathered the storms of time with grace and grit. The town's history is a tapestry woven with threads of triumph and tragedy, prosperity and hardship. Founded in 1876, Jerome was a copper mining town, and for a while, business was booming. The discovery of rich copper deposits attracted miners and entrepreneurs from far and wide, transforming Jerome into a thriving hub of activity. The town's fortunes were closely tied to the success of the mines, and for a time, it seemed like the good times would never end. The population exploded faster than a stick of dynamite in a microwave. People flocked to Jerome in search of fortune and opportunity, and the town's population swelled to over 15,000 at its peak. Saloons, gambling dens, and other establishments sprang up to cater to the needs and desires of the booming population, creating a vibrant and often rowdy atmosphere. We're talking saloons, gambling dens, the whole Wild West shebang. The streets of Jerome were alive with the sounds of laughter, music, and the clinking of glasses, as miners and townsfolk alike sought to unwind after a hard day's work. The town's reputation as a lively and sometimes lawless place was well earned, and tales of shootouts, brawls, and other Wild West antics became part of its lore. But like all good things, the good times eventually went bust. Literally, the copper veins that had once seemed inexhaustible began to dwindle, and the town's fortunes took a turn for the worse. As the mines closed and the economy faltered, many of Jerome's residents were forced to leave in search of new opportunities elsewhere. As the copper ran out, so did the people. The once thriving town saw its population plummet, and buildings that had once been bustling with activity were left abandoned and in disrepair. The streets that had once been filled with the sounds of life now echoed with an eerie silence as Jerome slowly transformed into a ghost town. Businesses closed, buildings were abandoned, and Jerome slowly transformed into the ghost town we know and love today. But even in its decline, Jerome retained a certain charm and mystique, drawing the curious and the adventurous to explore its deserted streets and crumbling structures. The town's ghostly atmosphere and rich history made it a magnet for those seeking a glimpse into the past. But hey, don't think for a second that Jerome is just some dusty old relic. In recent years, the town has experienced a renaissance of sorts, as efforts to preserve its history and attract tourists have breathed new life into its streets. Today, Jerome is a vibrant community that celebrates its past while embracing the future. Oh no, this town still has a pulse, albeit a slightly faint one. The residents of Jerome are a dedicated and passionate group, committed to preserving the town's unique character and heritage. they have worked tirelessly to restore and maintain the historic buildings, ensuring that the stories of Jerome's past continue to be told for generations to come. People still live there, keeping the spirit of the past alive. The town's community is a tight-knit and welcoming one, where neighbors know each other by name and visitors are greeted with open arms. The residents take pride in their town's history and work together to keep its legacy alive. Well, them and maybe a few actual spirits, but we'll get to that later. Jerome's reputation as a haunted town is well known, and tales of ghostly encounters and supernatural phenomena abound. From the eerie sounds of footsteps in empty buildings to the flickering lights that seem to have a mind of their own, the spirits of Jerome's past are said to linger, adding an extra layer of intrigue to this already fascinating town. As the sun sets over Cleopatra Hill, casting a golden glow over the town, it's easy to see why Jerome has captured the hearts and imaginations of so many. The town's unique blend of history, mystery, and natural beauty creates an atmosphere that is both enchanting and haunting. Whether you're a history buff, a thrill seeker, or simply someone looking for a unique and memorable experience, Jerome has something to offer. Today, Jerome is home to a thriving arts community, with local shops and galleries showcasing the work of talented artists and craftsmen. The town's creative spirit is evident in every corner, from the colorful murals that adorn the walls to the unique and eclectic shops that line the streets. Visitors can spend hours exploring the town's many attractions, discovering hidden gems, and meeting the friendly and passionate locals who call Jerome home. Jerome also hosts a variety of annual festivals and events that celebrate its rich history and vibrant culture. From music festivals and art shows to historical reenactments and ghost tours, there's always something happening in this lively and dynamic town. These events draw visitors from near and far, creating a sense of community and camaraderie that is truly special. And for those with a taste for the supernatural, Jerome's haunted tours are not to be missed. Led by knowledgeable guides, these tours take visitors on a journey through the town's most haunted locations, sharing spine-tingling tales of ghostly encounters and unexplained phenomena. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, these tours offer a fascinating glimpse into the darker side of Jerome's history. If you're planning a visit to Jerome, you'll find a variety of accommodations to suit your needs. From historic hotels and charming bed and breakfasts to cozy vacation rentals, there's something for everyone. Staying in one of the town's historic buildings is a unique and immersive experience, allowing you to truly feel the spirit of Jerome's past. For outdoor enthusiasts, Jerome offers a range of activities to enjoy. The surrounding area is home to scenic hiking trails, offering breathtaking views of the Verde Valley and beyond. Whether you're an experienced hiker or just looking for a leisurely stroll, the natural beauty of the area is sure to impress. And for those who prefer a more relaxed pace, there are plenty of spots to sit back, relax, and take in the stunning scenery. No visit to Jerome would be complete without sampling the local cuisine. The town boasts a variety of restaurants and cafes, offering everything from hearty comfort food to gourmet dining experiences. Many of these establishments are housed in historic buildings, adding to the charm and ambiance of your dining experience. Whether you're in the mood for a casual meal or a special night out, Jerome's culinary scene has something to satisfy every palate. And let's not forget the local wineries and tasting rooms, where you can sample some of the region's finest wines. The Verde Valley is known for its excellent wine production, and Jerome is no exception. Spend an afternoon touring the vineyards, learning about the winemaking process, and enjoying a glass of wine while taking in the stunning views. It's the perfect way to unwind and savor the flavors of this unique and captivating town. For those interested in delving deeper into Jerome's history, a visit to the local museum is a must. The museum houses a fascinating collection of exhibits and artifacts, offering a comprehensive look at the town's past. From the early days of mining to the present, the museum provides a detailed and engaging narrative of Jerome's journey through time. It's a great way to gain a deeper understanding and appreciation of the town's rich heritage. And of course, no visit to Jerome would be complete without hearing some of the local legends and folklore. The town is steeped in stories of adventure, mystery, and the supernatural, and the locals are always eager to share these tales with visitors. Whether it's around a campfire, in a cozy cafe, or during a guided tour, these stories bring the history of Jerome to life in a way that is both entertaining and enlightening. At its heart, Jerome is a town that embodies the spirit of community and resilience. The residents have faced many challenges over the years, but their determination and love for their town have never wavered. they have worked together to preserve Jerome's unique character and ensure that its history is not forgotten. This sense of community is palpable, and it's one of the things that makes Jerome such a special place to visit. As night falls and the town is illuminated by the soft glow of streetlights, Jerome takes on a magical quality. The shadows lengthen, and the air is filled with a sense of mystery and wonder. It's a time when the past and present seem to merge, and the stories of Jerome's history come alive in the quiet of the night. Whether you're exploring the town's streets, enjoying a meal at a local restaurant, or simply taking in the view, there's something truly enchanting about Jerome after dark. So, whether you're drawn to Jerome for its rich history, its vibrant art scene, its haunted tales, or simply its breathtaking beauty, one thing is certain. A visit to this remarkable town is an experience you won't soon forget. Jerome is a place where the past is always present, where every building and street corner has a story to tell, and where the spirit of adventure and discovery is alive and well. So come and explore and let Jerome's unique charm and character captivate you. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're heading to Bannack, Montana, a ghost town so well preserved it's like stepping straight into an old Western film set. Imagine walking down dusty streets where the echoes of the past seem to whisper in your ear, where every creak of a wooden floorboard tells a story of yesteryears. Bannack is not just a place, it's a living, breathing museum of the Old West. Seriously, they don't even need to use CGI here, it's that authentic. Founded in 1862, Bannack was a beacon of hope for many who sought fortune and adventure. The town's origins are deeply rooted in the Gold Rush era, a time when dreams were as vast as the Montana sky and just as unpredictable. Bannack was once a bustling gold rush town. Picture this, the year is 1862, and news of gold in Grasshopper Creek spreads like wildfire. Prospectors, miners, and adventurers from all corners of the country flock to this remote part of Montana, each one hoping to strike it rich. The town quickly transforms from a quiet settlement into a vibrant hub of activity. We're talking thousands of people, saloons, gambling dens, the whole 9 yards. The streets were lined with makeshift tents and hastily constructed wooden buildings. Saloons were the heart of the town, where miners would gather after a long day of digging, sharing tales of their finds over a glass of whiskey. Gambling dens thrived, with fortunes changing hands in the blink of an eye. It was the kind of place where fortunes were made and lost overnight. One day you could be a pauper, and the next, a wealthy man with gold nuggets in your pocket. But with great wealth came great risk. The promise of gold attracted not just honest men, but also those with less noble intentions, and where the line between lawman and outlaw was thinner than a prospector's patience. Law enforcement was a tricky business in Bannack. The town's first sheriff, Henry Plummer, was later discovered to be the leader of a notorious gang of outlaws. This duality of roles added to the town's wild and unpredictable nature. But like all gold rushes, the boom didn't last forever. The initial excitement and frenzy began to wane as the easily accessible gold was mined out. The once thriving town started to see a decline in its population. As the gold veins dried up, so did the population. The streets that were once bustling with activity became eerily quiet. Businesses that had thrived during the boom closed their doors. The saloons, once filled with laughter and music, now stood silent. People packed up their dreams, their disappointments, and their trusty pickaxes and moved on to the next big strike. The exodus was swift, leaving behind a town that seemed frozen in time. Buildings were abandoned, personal belongings left behind, as if the residents had just stepped out for a moment and never returned. And that's where Bannack's story takes a turn for the interesting. Unlike many other ghost towns that faded into obscurity, Bannack remained remarkably intact. Its buildings, though weathered by time, stood as silent sentinels of a bygone era. Instead of being bulldozed, dismantled, or swallowed whole by the earth, Bannack just stayed put. The town became a time capsule, preserving the essence of the gold rush era for future generations to explore and appreciate. Buildings remained standing, untouched by time, as if waiting for their long-gone residents to return. Walking through Bannack today, you can almost hear the echoes of the past. The creak of a door, the distant sound of a piano playing in a saloon, the murmur of voices discussing the latest gold find, as if waiting for their long-gone residents to return. The town's preservation allows us to step back in time and experience a slice of history that is both fascinating and haunting. Bannack is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring allure of the quest for gold. Today, Bannock is a state park, meticulously maintained to ensure that its history is not lost to the ravages of time. Visitors from all over the world come to walk its streets, explore its buildings, and immerse themselves in the stories of the past. The park offers guided tours, where knowledgeable guides share tales of the town's heyday, its colorful characters, and the events that shaped its destiny. The park also hosts annual events such as Bannock Days, where the town comes alive with reenactments, music, and activities that celebrate its rich history. It's a chance for visitors to experience firsthand what life was like during the Gold Rush era, to see the town as it once was, bustling with activity and excitement. Bannock's authenticity is one of its greatest draws. Unlike many other historical sites that have been heavily restored or commercialized, Bannock retains its original charm. The buildings, though weathered, are largely unchanged from their original construction. This gives visitors a true sense of what life was like in the 19th century. The town's layout, with its wide streets and wooden sidewalks, is a reminder of a time when transportation was by horse and wagon, and the pace of life was dictated by the rising and setting of the sun. The buildings, from the humble cabins of the miners to the more elaborate structures like the Hotel Mead, each tell a story of the people who lived and worked there. The saloons, once the heart of the town's social life, still stand, their interiors filled with artifacts from the past. Walking into one of these establishments, you can almost hear the clink of glasses and the murmur of conversation. It's easy to imagine the miners, dusty and tired, gathering here to unwind and share their stories. The stories of fortunes made and lost are etched into the very fabric of Bannock. Each building, each street corner holds a piece of the town's history. The tales of triumph and tragedy, of hope and despair, are woven into the town's narrative, creating a rich tapestry of human experience. The duality of lawman and outlaw is a recurring theme in Bannock's history. The town's first sheriff, Henry Plummer, is a prime example of this. Plummer was a respected lawman by day, but by night, he led a gang of outlaws that terrorized the region. His eventual capture and execution are a testament to the complex and often contradictory nature of life in the Old West. The boom and bust cycle of the gold rush is another key aspect of Bannock's story. The initial rush of excitement and prosperity was followed by a period of decline and abandonment. This cycle is a reminder of the transient nature of fortune and the impermanence of human endeavors. The population decline that followed the gold rush left Bannock a shadow of its former self. The once thriving town became a ghost town, its streets empty, its buildings silent. But this decline also allowed Bannock to be preserved in a way that few other towns have been. The lack of development and modernization means that Bannock remains a true representation of the past. The abandoned buildings of Bannock are a poignant reminder of the town's history. Each one tells a story of the people who lived and worked there, of their hopes and dreams, their successes and failures. The buildings stand as silent witnesses to the passage of time, their weathered facades a testament to the town's resilience. Bannock's interesting history is what makes it such a fascinating place to visit. The town's story is one of adventure and risk, of hope and disappointment, of resilience and perseverance. It's a story that continues to captivate and inspire those who visit. The preserved buildings of Bannock are a key part of its appeal. Each one is a window into the past, offering a glimpse of what life was like during the Gold Rush era. The buildings have been carefully maintained to ensure that their historical integrity is preserved, allowing visitors to experience the town as it once was. The fact that Bannock has remained largely untouched by time is what sets it apart from other historical sites. The town's authenticity and preservation make it a unique and valuable resource for those interested in the history of the Old West. The long-gone residents of Bannock may have left, but their legacy lives on in the town they built. Their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs are etched into the very fabric of Bannock, creating a rich and vibrant history that continues to captivate and inspire. So as we explore Bannock, let's take a moment to appreciate the history and heritage of this remarkable town. Let's remember the people who lived and worked here, who dreamed of striking it rich and building a better life. And let's honor their legacy by preserving and protecting this unique piece of our history for future generations to enjoy. Bannock is more than just a ghost town. It's a living testament to the spirit of the Old West. It's a place where history comes alive, where the past and present coexist in a delicate balance. So hold on to your hats, folks, and get ready to step back in time as we explore the fascinating history of Bannock, Montana. Whether you're a history buff, a fan of the Old West, or just someone looking for a unique and memorable experience, Bannock has something to offer. Its rich history, well-preserved buildings, and captivating stories make it a must-visit destination. So come on down to Bannock and discover the magic of this remarkable ghost town for yourself. As we conclude our journey through Bannock, let's take one last look at this incredible town. Its history, its people, and its stories are a testament to the enduring spirit of the Old West. Bannock is a place where the past comes alive, where history is not just remembered, but experienced. So, until next time, keep the spirit of adventure alive, and remember the lessons of Bannock, Montana. Now we are headed to Cahaba, Alabama. Cahaba, also spelled Cahaba, was the first permanent state capital of Alabama from 1820 to 1825. It was the county seat of Dallas County, Alabama until 1866. Located at the confluence of the Alabama and Cahaba rivers, the town endured regular seasonal flooding. The state legislature moved the capital to Tuscaloosa in 1826. After Cahaba suffered another major flood in 1865, the state legislature moved the county seat northeast to Selma, which was better situated. The former settlement became defunct after it lost the county seat because it lost associated businesses and jobs. Many people moved to the new seat. Cahaba declined rapidly, although it had been quite wealthy during the antebellum years. It is now a ghost town and is preserved as a state historic site known as the Old Cahaba Archaeological Park. The state and associated citizens groups are working to develop it as a full, interpretive park. St. Luke's Episcopal Church was returned to Old Cahaba, and a fundraising campaign is underway for its restoration. Due to its lowland location at the confluence of two large rivers, Cahaba was subject to seasonal flooding. It also had a reputation for an unhealthy atmosphere, when people thought that miasma in the air caused such diseases as malaria, yellow fever, and cholera. The numerous mosquitoes carried disease. People who were opposed to the capital's location at Cahaba used this as an argument for moving the capital to Tuscaloosa, which was approved by the legislature in January 1826. That was not a long-term success, and it was moved again in 1846 to centrally located Montgomery, Alabama. After the relocation of the capital, Cahaba was adversely affected by the loss of state government and associated business. Although the area is no longer inhabited, the Alabama Historical Commission maintains the site as Old Cahaba Archaeological Park. It was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1973. Visitors to this park can see many of the abandoned streets, cemeteries, and ruins of this former state capital and county seat. Off to Glen Rio we go. Glen Rio, formerly Rock Island, is an unincorporated community in both Deaf Smith County, Texas, and Key County, New Mexico, United States. Located on the former U.S. Route 66, the ghost town sits on the Texas-New Mexico state line. The community was founded in 1903 as a railroad siding on the Rock Island Railroad. Its name is derived from Scots Glen and from Spanish Rio River. Originally a railroad town, the village was renamed from Rock Island to Glen Rio by the Rock Island and Pacific Railroad in 1908 and began receiving motorists on the dusty Ozark Trail in 1917. Its original structures were adobe buildings. The circa 1910 Angel House was in New Mexico. The Ozark Trail was formed into U.S. Route 66 on November 11, 1926. By the 1930s, U.S. Route 66 was a paved two-lane road served locally by several filling stations, a restaurant, and a motel. The road was widened in the 1950s. A Texaco station, 1950, and a diner, Brownlee Diner, Little Juarez Cafe, 1952, were constructed in Texas using the Art Moderne architectural style. The location of Glen Rio on Texas and New Mexico border led to some interesting business practices. At one point, all fuel was dispensed in Texas due to New Mexico's higher gasoline taxes. The 1930s State Line Bar and Motel were built in New Mexico because Deaf Smith County, Texas was dry at the time. The railroad station was in Texas. The local post office, built around 1935, was in New Mexico. A water tank and windmill in New Mexico were constructed around 1945. The Joseph Brownlee House, constructed in Amarillo in 1930, was moved to Glen Rio in 1950. Glen Rio was the site of the first motel in Texas, last motel in Texas, Homer Arisman's family-run 1953 State Line Cafe and gas station, and 1955 Texas Longhorn Motel closed in 1976, and other businesses that straddled the state line on U.S. Route 66 for many years until Interstate 40 bypassed the community in September 1973. 3 filling stations, the 1925 Broyles Mobile Station, a 1935 Texaco, and the 1946 Ferguson gas station, once operated in New Mexico. It went into decline during 1975 when Interstate 40 had bypassed the town. For years, a simmering dispute had existed over of which state the east part of Glen Rio is lawfully a part of. The straight north-south border between the two states was originally defined as the 103rd meridian, but the 1859 survey that was supposed to mark that boundary mistakenly set the border between 2.29 and 3.77 miles, 3.69 and 6.07 kilometers, too far west of that line, making the current towns of Texline, Farwell, Bledsoe, Bronco, and the eastern part of Glen Rio appear to be within Texas. New Mexico's short border with Oklahoma, in contrast, was surveyed on the correct meridian. New Mexico's draft constitution in 1910 stated that the border is on the 103rd meridian as intended. The disputed strip, hundreds of miles long, includes parts of valuable oil fields of the Permian Basin. A bill was passed in the New Mexico Senate to fund and file a lawsuit in the U.S. Supreme Court to recover the strip from Texas, but the bill did not become law. Today, land in the strip is included in Texas land surveys and the Land and Towns. Also, here's some fun facts. Portions of The Grapes of Wrath, 1940, were filmed in Glen Rio. An abandoned Glen Rio motel is depicted in the town of Radiator Springs in 2006's animated film Cars, where the architectural design of Glen Rio's Little Juarez Cafe is used for a vacant, abandoned building, which eventually becomes the Racing Museum. There is actually a ghost town in Delaware that became a ghost town in 2004. That town is Glenville, Delaware. The community consisted of a development on Bread and Cheese Island, on the east bank of the Red Clay Creek near its mouth, just south of Delaware Route 4 near Stanton. Located in the floodplain for Red Clay Creek, the subdivision has always been prone to flooding, such as flooding from Hurricane Floyd in 1999 and Tropical Storm Henri in 2003. After floods caused by Tropical Storm Henri on September 15, 2003, homeowners were bought out by the state and local government, and the community was abandoned in 2004. Demolition began in 2005. As of 2023, the remains of the town are fenced off to prevent trespassers. Next we head to Louisiana. Bet you didn't know there was a ghost town there. Actually, there are 71 ghost towns in Louisiana. While we won't be able to cover them all today, here's a few for you to discover. First up is Atchafalaya, is a ghost town that was located in St. Martin Parish, approximately 6 miles north of Butte-La Rose, Louisiana, United States, and just north of I-10 on the Atchafalaya River. United States Geological Survey maps from 1935-1 show the town to be located on the east bank of the Atchafalaya River at the Southern Pacific Railroad crossing, which was built in 1908. After the bridge was damaged due to the Great Mississippi Flood of 1927, the railroad from Lafayette to Baton Rouge was abandoned a few years later. With no transportation in and out, the town population began to dwindle, with the last resident leaving in 1959. There is no visible trace of the town left today. Next in Louisiana is East Krotz Springs, approximately 12 miles west of Livonia, Louisiana. East Krotz Springs was originally known as Latania, and was the site of lumbering operations in the early 1900s. The Atchafalaya River levee broke at Latania in 1912 and 1913, flooding the southern part of Pointe Coupé Parish. Since 1939, this area has been located within the Morganza Spillway levee system and was entirely underwater again when the floodgates at the Morganza control structure to the northeast were opened in 1973 and 2011 to allow for relief of the high water level on the Mississippi River. East Krotz Springs is subject to being flooded again if the control structure gates are ever opened. There's no visible trace of the town left today. Next is Bona Ami, approximately 2 miles south of DeRidder, Louisiana. The town was created by the King Ryder Lumber Company as a sawmill town during the lumber boom. Ground was broken for the town in 1900, with the mill beginning operation on July 26, 1901. In 1904, it was the fourth largest town in Calcasieu Parish, having at least 1,500 inhabitants, 210 houses, 2 schools, 3 secret orders, 2 churches, and 2 hotels. The mill cut out its timber in 1925, at which time the mill and much of the town were dismantled. There is no visible trace of the town left today. Well, folks, that's a wrap on our eerie journey through some of America's most fascinating ghost towns. It's been quite the adventure, hasn't it? We've traversed through time and space, uncovering the hidden histories and untold stories of these abandoned places. Each ghost town has its own unique tale, a snapshot of a bygone era frozen in time. As we flew over these desolate landscapes, it was almost as if we could hear the whispers of the past, calling out to us, sharing their secrets. From the windswept streets of Bodie to the haunting silence of Thurmond, we've explored the stories of the people who lived, worked, and ultimately left their mark on these forgotten corners of the country. Bodie, once a bustling gold mining town, now stands as a testament to the boom and bust cycles of the American West. Its weathered buildings and dusty streets tell tales of fortune seekers, saloon brawls, and the harsh realities of frontier life. Thurmond, on the other hand, offers a glimpse into the coal mining era, with its abandoned train depot and empty storefronts serving as silent witnesses to a once thriving community. Each town, though now deserted, holds a piece of our collective history, a reminder of the dreams and struggles of those who came before us. Thanks for joining us, and remember, the next time you think about taking a trip to a bustling metropolis, consider venturing off the beaten path instead. There's a certain magic in exploring these forgotten places, a sense of stepping back in time and connecting with the past. Imagine walking through the overgrown streets, peering into the windows of long-abandoned homes, and feeling the weight of history all around you. It's a humbling experience, one that reminds us of the impermanence of human endeavors and the enduring power of nature. So why not trade the crowded city streets for the quiet solitude of a ghost town? You might just discover a new appreciation for the stories that shaped our world. You never know what you might find in a ghost town. Perhaps you'll stumble upon a forgotten artifact, a piece of history that offers a glimpse into the lives of those who once called this place home. Or maybe you'll encounter a local legend, a ghostly figure said to roam the empty streets, forever tied to the town they once knew. These stories, whether rooted in fact or folklore, add an extra layer of intrigue to your exploration. They remind us that even in the most desolate places, there's always a story waiting to be discovered. So keep your eyes and ears open and let your curiosity guide you. And hey, if you happen to run into any of the spirits we talked about, tell them Shane says hey. Ghost towns are often shrouded in mystery and legend, with tales of restless spirits and unexplained phenomena. While some may dismiss these stories as mere superstition, others find them to be an integral part of the ghost town experience. After all, what's a ghost town without a few ghosts? So if you find yourself in the presence of something otherworldly, embrace the moment. Share a friendly greeting, and who knows, you might just make a spectral friend. Just remember to be respectful and mindful of the history and legends that make these places so special. Just, maybe not the headless bellhop. Some legends are best left undisturbed, and the tale of the headless bellhop is one such story. According to local lore, this unfortunate soul met a tragic end and now roams the halls of an abandoned hotel, searching for his lost head. It's a chilling tale, one that adds an extra layer of eeriness to the already spooky atmosphere of the ghost town. So, while it's fun to engage with the legends and stories, it's also important to know your limits. Some spirits are best left to their eternal rest. That guy still creeps me out. The headless bellhop is just one of many ghostly figures said to haunt these abandoned places. Each ghost town has its own set of legends, from phantom miners to spectral cowboys, each adding to the rich tapestry of stories that make these places so fascinating. While some may find these tales unsettling, others see them as an essential part of the ghost town experience. They add a sense of mystery and wonder, making each visit a unique and memorable adventure. So whether you're a believer in the supernatural or a skeptic, there's no denying the allure of a good ghost story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more fascinating explorations. We're always on the lookout for new and exciting places to explore, and we love sharing our adventures with you. By subscribing to our channel, you'll be the first to know about our latest videos and updates. Plus, it helps us continue to bring you high-quality content and in-depth explorations of some of the most intriguing places on Earth. So, if you enjoyed this journey through America's ghost towns, be sure to show your support by liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell icon. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we can't wait to take you on our next adventure. Until next time, stay curious, stay adventurous, and most importantly, stay spooky. The world is full of hidden gems and forgotten places just waiting to be discovered. Whether it's a ghost town, an ancient ruin, or a natural wonder, there's always something new to explore and learn. So keep your sense of wonder alive, and never stop seeking out the unknown. And remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. So, take your time, savor the experience, and let your curiosity lead the way. Thank you for joining us on this eerie adventure, and we look forward to seeing you on our next exploration. Be sure to like, subscribe for our future videos. Be sure to tell us in the comments below which ghost town you like the most. Stay spooky, my friends.